Hey guys, Desolator Magic here with I almost said it. YouTube doesn't let you say the C word anymore. A hidden covered up information theory. But you can't call it the C word. Can't do it. But yes, I think Wizards tried to pull off a subtle secret information thingy with all of us, and it blew up in their face. And it's all completely passing under the radar. And this one, I'll say even I'm not 100% confident in it, but it's interesting. So it all goes back to Aether Revolt. I do believe that's when this all started. That set was so packed full of Modern and Commander staples, it was insane. And the price was pretty decent because of it. A lot of cards went up. They printed too much of it because I remember buying the boxes on liquidation for like $70 from my distributor. Hell, actually, I think they were 65. They had a lot of them. But if you look back at it now, it's not bad. Like the value right now today is somewhere in the mid 90s, which is like pretty decent for a set that old that was printed that much. And yes, of course, the inventions helped quite a bit. But the value of Kaladesh is like $70-some, and if you take out the inventions, it's 41. Okay, that's like Homeland's level. So Aether Revolt was worth much more, almost double, just because of the ongoing value of the cards in formats other than Standard, because of course it has rotated out. So everybody can tell the power level was pushed. I mean, every analyst, every article written by everyone said, yeah, Aether Revolt, they pushed the power level like crazy. And the real problem in Standard after that was that energy decks were just too damn good because there was too much color fixing. And then way late into it, they banned the color fixing, and then the deck died, and it was too late anyway. But don't let that override the fact that, boy, they just really powered up certain individual cards. We had a lot of best of cards coming out of that set. And the 4 sets after it sold really poorly because of it. Now, it was half, okay, energy was just broken and the deck was too good, and it was half, the individual cards were too good. That's why people were running 3+ colors. Your deck and your sideboard could just contain the best of, and those best of cards' power level was pretty darn high. I mean, even other 3-color decks like Scarab God decks, you would just run best of, best of, best of, best removal, best counterspell, best whatever, and then the deck was just too powerful. So that was the state of things. The question is, why did they do it? I mean, it seems like with cards that were printed around that time, like just anti-Tron cards, anti-Dredge cards, just like absolute sideboard cures for certain popular deck archetypes in other formats. I mean, Tocatli, Ashes, you see cards like that, and you're like, that clearly isn't even for Standard. So if you think about it for 3 seconds, you think, well, what made them want to do that? Oh, extra value and more sales. Duh. Your single values go up if you have 2 different groups buying them, Standard players and anybody else who plays anything else. And if a couple singles go up, the whole set goes up, people buy more of it, and they open it until the price drops down, and you've effectively sold more boxes. Plus, if there's a lot of Modern and Commander staples in a set, it'll make people maybe say, maybe I'll pick up a case of it and sit on it for, 5-10 years. Like, maybe it's a candidate for stuff to go up. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, I see what Wizards is doing. They want to make more money on Standard, and they've had disastrous releases like Journey into Nyx, where it was just dead on arrival, nobody wanted it. A lot of the cards in the main mechanic just weren't good enough in the meta. And so, they only release 4 sets a year. So if one Standard set fails, that is one too many, which makes me really wonder why they brought core sets back. Those just by default don't sell. I mean, all the money, the art, the development, the testing time, it all costs the same whether the set sells or not. So you put, millions of dollars worth of money into it, and then it doesn't sell, that's bad. So they want to not have one single set fail. So what they started doing is they started just putting guaranteed cards in there, like, really good dual lands, like the Czech lands and stuff like that. Things that are guaranteed minimum value from other formats and Standard. And then they apparently started adding new Modern staples, not even reprints, like new ones. Like Fatal Push is really good in certain decks that are really fast. And there you go. Now you've guaranteed, okay, at least people will open it for that. If you put 10, 15 really good cards in it that people want, it doesn't matter if it's accepted well in Standard or not. You'll have a baseline amount of sales that is just like your fallback insurance policy. Well, that and Wizards is just greedy as hell. So they're like, what can we do to increase sales? Make the product that's for Standard only for 2 different audiences. Okay. So whichever way you want to look at it, is it a safety thing or is it just we need more money? It's probably both. I mean, it's honestly the same thing at the end of the day. Well, if you look at the next couple sets after Aether Revolt, they did the same thing, it just didn't work. They threw in cards like Tocatli and Ashes that just didn't work. A lot of sets later, they put in like Tron Killers. I think there was, some of those in Dominaria or something like that. I think some were in Ravnica too, I don't remember. But it wasn't really enough to carry those 4 sets because really nothing competed with energy. So, I mean, you look at Amonkhet and especially Hour of Devastation, how many of those cards were like, well, that's going in my commander deck. It still wasn't enough to carry it. Those sets did okay, but at the end of the day, Red Rush, Teferi Garbage, and this is quite a bit later, Energy were like the only things that could be played around that time. Obviously, those didn't coincide with each other, but that's about what the theme was over, a year-ish. So they tried, they failed, and then you look at really Dominaria Onward, the power level, how far they pushed it again after they didn't learn the lesson from Aether Revolt, because here's why it seems like a good idea for exactly one set. If you push the power level through the roof, and the really good high-powered cards are good in Standard and other formats, everybody's going to use those cards, and everything that comes out after it won't be able to compete with it, so people won't buy them. I mean, Amonkhet was wonderful, and Balm was cool, Eternalize was alright, but boy, a minor deck compared to what was popular. And by popular, I mean powerful and actually capable of winning. So that's clearly what they did, right? I mean, my theory makes sense. They just wanted to add additional money, add an additional audience, and then they flew too close to the sun, and when they put too many good cards in one set, then they actually shot themselves in the feet because nothing after that sells. Whoopsies. But I have a different theory, because remember, throughout this whole time, they knew that Arena was coming out. They were developing it, and they have changed the game and created like specific ban lists and stuff just to make Arena work. Which, I mean, obviously now it doesn't, so they failed, but that's what they were attempting to do. They wanted to be fun and fair, and they wanted Best of 1 to work, and so obviously they banned Nexus from Best of 1, and there's about 15 more they need to ban. But the standard meta in paper and Arena is out of control, so that's beyond just Arena. But I'm thinking, I wonder if the sets after Aether Revolt pushed the power so much with so many powerful cards for a very particular reason related to Arena. And if you look at how many of these cards cost 1, 2, and 3, there's the entire root of my theory. I think that Wizards tried to speed up the game. They tried to make it much, much, much faster, because remember, Best of 1 was really popular. They knew this during beta testing. I think they knew it even before beta testing. They said they were surprised, but they shouldn't have been, because look at any other video game at all. Like, who the hell wants to sit down for an hour and a half and play somebody with some dragged out crap deck best of 3? Surprise, surprise, in the MOBA, RTS, and Battle Royale environment of video games, people want 5 to 15 minute matches. Shocker, it's almost like people have a finite amount of time and have to get up and do things and get interrupted occasionally. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to make myself unavailable for the next hour because I can't get up for more than 60 seconds. And I think some people knew that, so what they did is they tried to speed up Standard. And it's like maybe after Arena came out, when they were still considering cards and finalizing the future sets, maybe leading up to like the last 3, especially War of the Spark, they're like, let's push the power level to an absolute crazy degree in the 1, 2, and 3 mana slot, because more powerful cards sooner mean that the game gets done quicker. So look at mono white, mono red, especially, and look at all the absolutely dominant cards that cost 2 especially. I think that they were trying to make the game faster, and think about it, that would benefit FNM too. I mean, not going 50 minutes every round is nice, because if you finished in 10 minutes, you have to sit around and do nothing for 40 minutes while everybody else just takes forever with their stupid drawn-out control decks. Is now a good time to mention that they've clearly completely and utterly failed at that, because you can't play a game under 30 minutes on Arena these days. Almost every single game in like Gold League up that I've heard about, seen, or played is just drawn-out 3-color control garbage. They have slowed the game down so much by printing more powerful cards, which is not what you would expect. But, I mean, there's still mono-white blitz, there's still white-red blitz, and still red blitz. War of the Spark kind of took care of red a little bit, but it's still a viable deck, obviously. It's just not tier 1 anymore. But I think that's what they were going for. They wanted those 2 deck archetypes, or I guess you could say 3 if you wanted to include like a real Boros Mentor version and whatever. It's really just an excuse to play Heroic Reinforcements is what the mixed color is. It's the same damn deck, but whatever. They wanted that to be the baseline, because what happens when you print really fast decks where like on turn 4, they will win if they're unopposed, if your opponent's doing nothing or close to it. Like search for Azcanta and a Fountain, okay, you're dead. Like you better have a kill spell in the 2 mana spot, or some kind of 3-cost early mini board wipe, or a wall, or you got to do something quicker than that. What the meta does is it pushes out anything medium speed, let alone slow. Unfortunately, it also makes people play control. Shocker. And then the tipping point that got us to where we are right now, obviously, in case you're really bad at analyzing the meta, is the level of draw. So they could feel free to speed up the game with really early, powerful, good cards that cost 1, 2, and 3. You know, whether they be powerful creatures or powerful control spells, because you need both, and you need them both to cost about the same to make it look like it's fair. And the net result is that the game speeds up. But if the low cost, high power, super duper fast control spells are really, really good, you can't let people draw too many of them late in the game. You can't let them set up this big established draw engine and just keep going. And just every time your opponent draws one card, tries to do something, you've got 2 ready for it. And that's where we're at now. I mean, Search for Azcanta, Teferi, anything with draw and jumpstart on it at all. I mean, technically, like a red removal spell with jumpstart is kind of card draw because you get that card an additional time. I mean, they tried to make it fair by making you have to ditch a card out of your hand, but guess what? You probably didn't need that mountain. So the fair and balanced part of it fell flat, and now we've got just too much card advantage, draw, scry, everything. It's too good. So the whole speed it up thing would have worked if they didn't give people so much draw. That's when it backfired. So that's why, like I said, their attempt to speed up the game actually resulted in way slowing it down, and everything is control now. Every control deck I've seen, every deck list does not run out of gas. It's just too easy to not do that. And that's why I really think this was an accident. I think they were going for fast. Everything indicates they were going for fast, and then it blew up in their face and everything got slow. But arena players are impatient, new players are impatient, and people have things to do in their life. And fast games are a little bit more approachable for new players because there's less to remember, less triggers. I mean, yeah, the game kind of does the triggers for you in arena, but, more permanents, more spells, you miss things. I mean, it's just quicker games, like, they're understandable. And I've noticed that new players like to run quicker decks too. I don't know if you guys have noticed that too. So I think everything in the standard meta right now was an attempt to orchestrate popularity in arena by shortening games and making them a little bit simpler. And like I said, as you can see, that backfired spectacularly. If somebody doesn't have 3 planeswalkers in play, then what are they even playing at this point? It's an overcomplicated, drawn-out nightmare. Nothing wins in under 15 turns. Arena is unplayable. It's almost impossible to get in a couple wins for the day because every game takes like 30 minutes. They have gone so far in the other direction that nobody's catching what Wizards, I think, in my opinion, attempted to do, which is speed the hell out of the game with powerful early cards. And think about it. What other reason would they have to not ban mono white or mono red, especially? Because they wanted it to be in the game. They wanted that to be the benchmark for speed. Without that, it's the only thing keeping hyper control in check. I mean, back up a month, there was nothing else to play but red, rush, and 3-color Teferi crap. The only other deck arguably was Sultai, and I don't know. That was more of a coincidence. So the question is, going forward after the next standard rotation, will we see them double down on this, where they're going for like 5-minute games tops, where it's just, okay, I made a really, really good, important, proper, wise mulligan decision, and then the game's basically decided at that point, based on, what cards you draw in your first 3 turns and what you kept. Which is annoying and boring, but then again, so is no win con Esper Teferi Kaya crap. I mean, just the number of control spells and removal spells in Is It Drakes right now is horribly annoying. So clearly they've failed and control took over. That's why they probably shouldn't have gone with speed decks, because the only thing that beats speed decks is having 80% of your deck be control. And then oops, they put in a bunch of really good 1, 2, and 3 cost control spells to stop fast decks. Oops. And then on top of it, like I said, they gave it too much draw. So if they wanted to fix this right now and go back to their original plan, get rid of half the draw spells. I mean, just ban Chemister's Insight, Teferi, and Azcanta. And that's it. And I think the meta will be more like what they were going for. The games would be a lot faster, but the guaranteed way to do it is to drop a whole bunch of the problem cards in the next rotation, and then you lose color fixing too. And remember, to run control, you really need 3 colors when this many sets are legal. That's why, by the way, M20 is going to be a disaster zone. I don't even care what's in that set. It's going to make just all of this whole big situation we got right now, it's just going to make it worse. They're just taking M20, which is just gasoline, and pouring it on this fire. I mean, unless they literally print M20 with no draw cards, no removal, no kill, no burn, everything that doesn't need to get worse right now, no planeswalkers, nothing that uses counters. Hey, Proliferate, ever heard of it? No more green hexproof creatures. Like, they're going to have some of that in M20, and it's just going to take everything that's toxic right now and upgrade it a little bit. Holy crap. So it is going to be a very rough time in Standard until the rotation. So the question is, after that, what is it going to look like? Because, I mean, yeah, War is really high-powered, but it's kind of control-y. There's not a whole lot of direct removal, and the Planeswalkers are kind of inherently slow. But the best way to sell a set, whatever comes out after M20, is to make what's before it irrelevant by beating it, just naturally beating it. So I think we're going to see something really fast, something maybe haste-heavy, some kind of extra damage on a swing or extra damage based on... Well, probably not the number of creatures in play. I don't know. They could do anything at this point. But it'll be a lot of damage really quickly. I think that'll be the theme for like the next at least 2 sets after M20. Because I think they are going to double down on we need Arena to be faster. So losing half the color fixing half the control. Yeah, that'll do it. Rotation, I think, will probably do it. I mean, we're still left with some pretty toxic stuff. But the backbone of almost every deck right now goes back pretty far into the sets that will rotate. So what do you think? Was Wizards of the Coast purposely trying to speed up the game by printing hyper-powerful cards, or was it just, no, we need to get the Modern and Commander people in buying this stuff because money? Do you think that they found out people want really short matches way too late, and even up to War of the Spark was already designed and finalized at that point? Because that's possible. The timing's pretty distant on that, but I don't know. So it could be a coincidence, and I'm just connecting dots that aren't really there. But even if I'm wrong about the last couple sets, will we still see them try to speed up Magic? I mean, even just sitting right now looking at the sets that are coming out, which they can still tweak. They say finalize, but I mean, it's not final till it's in a box, you know what I mean? And I can assure you the one after M20 has not been printed yet. Will they look at the state of the meta and be like, oh my gosh, Magic is too damn slow. Everybody's complaining about the speed of the matches. Every F&M and even drafts are going on too long. We need to speed this up. And they just start dropping mana costs on everything in the couple sets after M20. They might do it if they haven't done it already. So last question is, what would you think of that? Would you like shorter games? I've had a lot of people agree with me when I say that an 8-turn game feels appropriate for Standard. I wouldn't mind a 10 or 12-turn game, you know, where there's some back and forth and, you know, a little bit of now I'm up, now I'm down, and oh, now it swung my way, and ooh, who's going to win, and oh, I outplayed them, and, you know, not just, oh, I ran you over on turn 4. Wow, great, cool, fun. But would I prefer just an absolute turn 5, someone's going to win shootout, both of our decks are fast as hell, ooh, this is exciting, compared to like, well, it's turn 30 and there's 10 cards left in my library, I literally want this game to die. Somebody please do something to end this match. There are no permanents in play that aren't lands, everybody blew up everything, and control's out of control. Yeah, probably, but I don't think that Standard should be a turn 4 or 5 format. I mean, if somebody's running some slow-ass combo crap and I'm running like green run them over and I kill them on turn 5, that's their fault. But in a typical, appropriate, fairly high-tier game, I think it would be nice if it went past 4, at least, if not 5. And people say, no, I like fast Magic. Well, then go play Modern. Modern's way faster. I mean, that's the format for you. I like a little bit more dynamic and a little bit less reliance on who went first. Because remember, the shorter the game is, the more advantage there is to who went first in the first place. And that is a big problem. But so are 30-minute matches, so they need to find that middle ground, and that's why a lot of people agree turn 8 as an average would be very, very nice. But I think that they're shooting for less than that, and they want dynamic, interactive stuff. They want a lot of options. They want cards, permanent spells that do multiple things, and that inherently does drag the game out a little bit, but that's what they're going for. So then they kind of also saw that and doubled down on like Red Rush, and then we get where we're at now. So are they even capable of dialing it into a turn 8 format? Probably not. I think they're shooting purposely for faster, obviously for the sake of Arena, in my opinion. And I also think they should not do that. So what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching my crazy non-spiracy theory. I mean, it is one. I just can't say the word or they'll demonetize this video and bury it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.